Welcome to another Adaptive Insights training video. In this video, we're excited to tell you about a new feature release that allows you to publish log-on messages to a location with the message of your choice. You can publish your message or notification to a single location for all users that log on to that location. Or you can send that same message to multiple locations. And also, all locations can receive any important announcement that you need to inform employees about. To get started, here's what you need to do. With the appropriate permissions, you're going to come down to Employee Master. Once you're in the Employee Master, you want to come over to Add Edit User Roles. And now you want to find the user role that you want to give control over generating messages and notifications to locations. Let's click on Edit. I'm going to select Adaptive. And this feature happens to be all the way down at the bottom, and that's called Company Announcements. In this case, I have already got it checked, but you will check it and select Update. Now, everybody that is part of the adaptive user role, or whatever user role it is you chose, and administrative level will have access to create these messages. So now the next thing that we are going to do is we are going to go to Task Directory and go to Administrative Control Panel. We are going to scroll down and we are going to look for Company Announcements. Open Company Announcements and let's fill out some generic information. First, we want to give it a friendly title or name so that you can identify the message later on, and you will see that these messages are going to show up down here in a grid for you to better manage. Give it a name that you can easily identify and that your employees will identify. Select your start date that you want this message to start displaying, and then select the priority. We have normal, important, and critical. Now, do you want this message to show up at all locations, or is this a targeted message that you're creating, for example, home place, and we perhaps want billable service workers notified? In this case, I'll hit Control and select the second location. For this demonstration, though, I'm going to select all locations to send this. I can put an end date in for this message to stop appearing if we want to. If it's an important message that you want to make sure that everybody has acknowledged it, you can select Show on every login and deselect Allow Close Without Reading, then select Requires Employee Acknowledgement. That means it's not going to go away until they acknowledge that they have read that. We do track that for you. And the next option is Publish Immediately. If you leave this default checked as it is, then it will publish as soon as you save it. If you want to work on this and come back to it later to finish it, then leave this unchecked or uncheck it from the default position that it is in. And the next thing is our word processor that we have down below here. And you can do just the same things that you do with any word processor. Let's go ahead and build a nice message for an example. So we have created a sample message here and pasted that in. We needed a little bit of text in the container, because if you don't have some text in the word processor, it will ask you for when you try to save. So I just kept the check Publish Immediately and Require Employee Acknowledgement so that we can track that every employee that is expected to review this message has done so. And with that, we will go ahead and click on Save. And that message now shows up down here in our grid. We can click on the View Report icon. We can print this report if we wanted to. At this time, there's no data. We will trigger some and come back to that after we've logged in and looked at this. So now what I'm going to do is log off of the system and let's go back in again. And I am definitely not a robot. I have cleared those pop-ups away, and now I'm going to go ahead and proceed into our location. And now as we enter the location, of course, our pesky messages come back up again. But in this case, now, this is the message that is intended for all of your users to see when they log in. Priority is set to important. It was published on 7.2. The user has to scroll all the way down in the message, and they have to acknowledge that they have read this message. And so we'll go ahead and we'll acknowledge that. It refreshes our screen. Let's click on Home and see if we can bring that back up again. Okay, very good. Because we have acknowledged it, it is not going to show back up again. So let's go ahead and go back into our task directory, our administrative control panel, and let's go down to company announcements again. And now let's look at the message. Welcome to an introduction, insight into creating your reminder or notices. And you can see now that I have read and viewed that message, and I did not dismiss it. It was not set up for that. I can print this report out. Now, this will grow very large as your users log in throughout the day, but essentially every message will be acknowledged at least one time, in this case by one employee, and you can validate that they have in fact seen that message. Okay, let's go ahead and let's sign back in. You can't jump the CAPTCHA. And here is our first messages that are from the adaptive team. Log into St. Regis Drive. Looking good, the message no longer appears because it has been acknowledged. If a new user logs on to the system, that user will then see the message. And let's just verify that. And yes, now we have confirmed that a new user will see this message until they acknowledge that message. If there were more than one message, which in this case we do have, coming to you soon, and here again we can say, don't show again. This one is not set to acknowledge. It does not require acknowledgement and can be simply closed that it has been read. So there you have it. There are the features of our new log-on messaging system. I hope you can find this very useful, and please keep your suggestions coming. We absolutely want to make Adaptive the best fit that it can possibly be for your company.